What's up? Good morning, everybody. Gonna go through some analysis for the day. Pull up some charts. How's everybody doing? Good morning, Daniel. Welcome in. We are back at all-time highs again. It's like Groundhog Day every day. How'd everyone do yesterday? Welcome in, Steve. Good morning. It was a fun trading day for me yesterday. It's nice to catch a little bit of a larger piece of ES. $15 to 20 points on ES is a pretty banger catch for most like scalp trades. I think a lot of people caught it. It was a good one. It's a good one. It took a while to develop though, didn't it? So if you're just joining in on YouTube, we did catch a nice long yesterday. I shared a recap of that trade. I just shared the live recording on YouTube. Nice. Ayush, hopefully I pronounced that right. Daniel caught 15 points. Yeah, that was sick, dude. That was sick. All right, so let's jump into the analysis. Let me share a couple things here. First of all, we retraced pretty much that whole sell-off from, what was that, Tuesday? We just talked through the analysis a little bit, higher time frame here, where we're at with the market. So, oops. So if you guys remember, we had this area that had been acting as resistance multiple times. We sold off from it, pretty hard after making an all-time high. And I will say, this is something I'm observing here today. Look at the last 1, 2, 3 times we tested these all-time highs. We are above it, but I mean, if you think about it, on this move, we had pushed new all-time highs. So each time we've pushed that new all-time high above these 6,800s, we've had a pretty sharp, aggressive pullback after that. So just watching out for that this morning. There's several pieces of context that make this area an interesting area to watch this morning. There's kind of a lower volume area where buyers were super aggressive. Yesterday, we'll look at the volume profile. We also have this 4-hour trend line that's been respected over the last few weeks. Now. Good morning, Pat. And this is on ES. We'll take a quick glance at NQ as well. So after seeing, and if looking at the volume profile as well, this was that area that we've been watching for a while, is like the kind of since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going on 7 days was like the higher time frame balance range low. You can see how we were just kind of consolidating in this range over the last 5 or 6 trading days. So after we hit that yesterday, and then we were just holding higher lows, I was looking for this move back to the top of the balance range. And that's what we caught. So that's why we caught it long down here when we saw a good confirmations. Again, I recommend going and reviewing that. I posted the full live stream on YouTube for people to review. That's where we took it long. Given the context of, yes, we were kind of in the middle of this balance range, but you can see how much consolidation occurred here after we already tested the low of the balance range. So to me, the probability was good that we were going to squeeze all the way back up into the high of the balance range, which is what we got yesterday. But now we're once again just in this pennant here now at the top of this balance range. So In the short term, we could definitely see a pullback here. I don't know if I want to take it short. Maybe if I see some good confirmations and just use this zone down here as a target. If we manage to just squeeze out of this morning, I may just have to sit out, unless I find like a little scalp on it. But honestly, without seeing it any more pullback, it may be hard to take that and just, maybe. I'm not totally against it. It's kind of 50-50. Honestly, that's kind of the overall vibe. Like yesterday was one of those days I had a very strong conviction on the setup. We got a banger trade. Now going into today, it's kind of 50-50-ish. We got to see what develops here. Thought Powell was supposed to be speaking at 8:30 this morning, but so far I've seen pretty much no reaction on the market. Nothing significant. All right, so we're coming into this pennant here. Need to just kind of watch this and see, if we break out to the upside, if it sustains, if we break out to the downside, if it sustains. If we do get down here, if I don't catch it short, I'm also open to looking for a mean reversion off that. The same 4-hour trend line that's been holding, it's also aligning in that area where buyers were very aggressive. We have that low volume node. So I'm watching that area around 67, 80, plus or minus a few points. Makes sense to everybody? Drop this in the chat in case anybody wants to review that. So that's what I'm watching this morning. In the meantime, just looking at, my footprint chart here on ES, we can see some buyers got trapped up here at the all-time highs and we rejected sharply lower. We came down and, sellers multiple times got trapped at the lows and we bounced back up again. So this is forming that pennant, and pretty much inside this range here from like 68.10 to 67, like 96 is pretty much a no trade zone for me. We could, do that number and go to new all-time highs, but, it's a little tricky to trade that given how we've kept rejecting every all-time high recently. ATH is all-time high. Why not? Detailed asked. Yeah, that's the question. Why not? Detail asked, what would you be looking to target? Not much, because we're just at all-time highs. There's not really levels or anything. I would just kind of be hopefully catching a tight risk scalp and then just kind of trailing my stop loss until it slows down if there's a lot of momentum on the breakout, and then just kind of trailing my stop along the move where it makes sense based on what I'm seeing on the order flow, and then just get out when it takes me out. To the downside, we do have some more levels, which is that level that I talked about, that 80-ish area. You also got to watch out if this morning turns choppy and we could just have fake outs to both sides of this range, since we have this clear pennant range. Actually, let me just get rid of all this. Since we have this clear pennant range, it could definitely turn choppy here and, fake out above, below, and just mean revert back around 6,800. So we do got to watch out for that. It's really going to be this morning kind of gauging the volatility, the speed of the tape, and things like that. But generally in the middle of this area here is no bueno for me, not liking that pennant overnight. Thanks, Praise. Yeah, we go through all this and a lot more in depth in Flipping Futures. If you do want to check that out, the link's in the description. But we may see that mean reversion. We do have to watch out for that. Sorry, guys, I'm a little tired and thought it was allergies, but I might have a little cold again now. It's kind of annoying. It's like the third time in the last few months. Let's see here. What else for my game plan? is relevant. We do have some news coming out. Should have mentioned that. 30-year bond auction around 1300 today, 1 p.m. Eastern. So do keep an eye on that. We can talk about NQ briefly here. Let me take a snip of NQ. NQ has pretty much, we watched this yesterday, pretty much stayed relatively stronger. So I would be looking, if we get a pullback and bulls stay strong, I would be kind of looking for NQ to make a higher low than ES. And if ES pulls back, this is that similar kind of 4-hour trend line that I was talking about in this area where buyers are aggressive, but now here on NQ, similar structure. But I would kind of be wanting to see NQ make a higher low and ES make a slightly lower low into that zone and then bounce. So I would be watching kind of this prior all-time high area where I have this zone marked here. You can see how we rejected it multiple times and now we've broken over it. And actually looking at this, like ES has pulled back more and kind of made more of a pennant overnight, but NQ is still kind of above this little structure from yesterday afternoon. So NQ still looks relatively stronger. But if that doesn't hold and we see more downside, I would be watching that trend line that also aligns with this area where buyers were really aggressive yesterday morning. It's at 25,100 to 150-ish. That trend line sits a little higher though. Again, it's just area, I'm not like looking at levels that it's like, okay, I'm going to be a buyer on this level. That's not how I trade. You guys know that. I'm looking, it's just areas of interest. And then I'll analyze the order flow in real time to see where it makes precisely where it makes sense to take a trade. Yeah, we had anytime we see a strong down move and then a strong up move again, for one, the market's very bullish. We're at all-time highs. We're consolidating at all-time highs. Every single dip has been quickly bought and gone right back to all-time highs. But it is tricky because each time we have pushed these new all-time highs, it's rejected back sharply and then, reverted back to all-time highs again. So definitely want to be cautious. But given the size, let's talk about this. Where's my snip? This is a 1-hour chart still. But just given the size of this downside move and then reverted right back the next day, it may be kind of a cool down consolidation, choppy range for a bit. Just there was a lot of energy down, a lot of energy back up, and now, people may be cooling off here. So I could be wrong, and it could just keep going on the rocket ship move, or reverse way back down. I would be not surprised, I guess I could say, to just see, some choppy lower volatility after seeing such a big move down, big move up. I think, the government's still in shutdown right now. No deal's been made or anything. So it's not like I don't see too much new information coming out that would make sense to shift any dynamic in the market. So it's a lot of speculative trading going on right now, in my opinion. Which can turn into choppy grinds and then, big imbalance moves. If it occurs, we got to watch out. Does that make sense to everybody? Makes sense. How did everybody do yesterday? Let me know. How did everyone trade yesterday? Did you see similar to analysis to what I shared? Did you see something different? Let me know in the chat. making sense. Cool. It's strange because I'm so used to doing the lives on Discord now with the private community. There's obviously so much more of a delay on YouTube on the stream. Makes sense. Yeah, if you're not feeling it, totally valid to not take a trade. And honestly, if you didn't get in that early yesterday, it just kind of blasted. And let's take a look at a 2-minute chart. Just take a look at yesterday. That really was like, so this is where I caught it on this pullback here. Oh, come on. Forgot I'm not on a snip. Let me take a snip. All right, so 2-minute chart here now. So man, look at that though. I haven't even looked at this on the 2-minute chart yet because this whole thing was all like order flow. But look at that 4-hour trend line hit right there when that buying surged in. I didn't chase it, even though I saw it squeeze. I did not chase it. And thankfully I was able to catch it right here at that pullback. But since then, there was no more opportunities. There was pretty much one opportunity yesterday, in my opinion, and that was it. And if you missed it, it was the better move. It was, even though it just went straight up and you could have made money chasing it pretty much any point, it was the smarter, better trader decision to just sit out if you didn't catch it. Because any of these areas up here could have resisted it. Why not detail is correct. We were in that balance range. I was just speculating based on the information the day prior. Yeah, after breaking above 75, it became hard to chase it and it just squeezed straight up. But based on the information the day prior, how we hit that balance range low in the higher time frame and we're working our way up, I was just speculating we were going to trade back through. This was all the middle of the balance range here. And so I was just speculating we were going to trade through it back into that zone up there, which we did. But I didn't hold for this whole zone up here. I think I got all out around 90. I scaled out around 83 and 90. So I was just targeting like the upper third of the balance range. Yeah, it depends on the situation, Pat. There are times where I'm kind of a first buyer, but it depends on the setup and the context and everything. In this situation, seeing this thing grind lower, I was not a first buyer here. I waited for the pullback and thankfully caught it. But if it wasn't for that one catch, I didn't see much other good opportunity. I did catch another scalp up here, kind of just a continuation. When I saw massive buying come in and I was just speculating that we were going to squeeze out the highs. I think I caught it long around the 89s and I just targeted that squeeze for 5 or 6 points into the 95s. There was like a 3,000 or 4,000 lot buy order that came in and it couldn't, I think it was like around here. It couldn't sell off at all from there. And I immediately went with it with only like a 2 or 3 tick stop loss and just targeted that high day squeeze into that zone. I think I put an update in the intraday commentary when I took that, but honestly, I didn't recommend anyone following that. It was, a very, very, very tight risk. Just a quick scalp off that massive buying that came in. The main Angelo asked a good question. Do you think speaking about Bookmap subscriptions, do you think Global Plus is worth it over Bookmap Global? The main thing that I use Global Plus for is this DOM over here. This DOM Pro is a feature of Global Plus, and that is pretty much the entire reason that I have Global Plus. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably just use Global. because I don't really use the add-ons or indicators. I have the sweeps and absorption indicators on, but honestly, I could do without them. It's just, I kind of look at it up there, sweeps one and the absorption. But honestly, I could do without all that. The main reason for me. So if you want this DOM Pro like I use to kind of analyze this, that, you know, information here, which is kind of the same, not kind of, it's the same information. I also look at the book map. It's just I'm looking at it for like the full, or sorry, not the book map, the footprint charts. It's just for like the full session volume here. So I do like the DOM Pro. But if you have another good DOM where you have all this information, then I would just get the global. Yeah. Oh, is replay global plus only? I'm not sure. I've only ever had global plus for years. If replay is global plus only, then I would definitely do. That's like one of the best features of Bookmap is being able to record the data and go back and replay and backtest. It's like the best order flow backtesting tool in bar none, because you can really see the real-time order flow and go back and see things how it happened in a way that I don't see on any other, I've never seen on any other tool. Because a lot of reading the order flow is analyzing the pace of the market as orders come in and the size and everything like that. And so just looking at data in the past is, you don't really get a feel for that. But when you go back and backtest moves and stuff on Bookmap and get a real to life true feel of watching it in replay, absolute killer. So if replay is global plus only, okay, Pat said replay, global has replay, he has it. Okay. All right, so there you go. Then yeah, then the biggest thing for me about global plus is just this DOM. If you guys want, I do have a Bookmap discount. Here, I'll share the link with you. It's shared in my private Discord. Again, the link is in the description of this video, but here you go, guys. If anybody doesn't have Bookmap and you're interested in it, I did reach out, or actually they reached out to me and gave me that discount code. So there you go. It's a pretty hefty, pretty hefty discount if you do the annual. It's like 50% off. Yeah, so why not? If you go back and watch the video that I shared of yesterday's trade, that was a lot of my analysis on going long ES. Is I was saying how NQ was stronger than ES was weak. So when I saw the dip on ES and NQ was just way stronger, I was saying, I think it's more likely that NQ is going to pull ES up because it's so strong, and it's less likely that ES is going to pull NQ down because NQ wasn't, or sorry, ES was not weak enough. Even though it was kind of dipping and pulling back, it wasn't weak enough that it would pull NQ down, in my opinion. So that was another confirmation, was just how strong NQ was. So when the opportunity arose on the dip and we saw good confirmations, that was just an added confluence to go long ES. All right, guys, any other questions before I drop here? We'll drop over into the Flipping Futures Discord. We'll go live for the trading session this morning. Hopefully this analysis and stuff helps you guys. I will continue to do more, free streams as well to help you guys on YouTube. But if you want more coaching and mentorship and, live trading and analysis with me to learn how to read the order flow and analyze the market, you're welcome to join. The link is in the description. But again, if you're just wanting to hang out on YouTube, that's cool. We'll still be around. But all right, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, if you have questions or anything, send me a DM on there. That's the best way to reach me. I pretty much respond to everyone as much as I can. But if you have questions, send me a DM on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me. If you're not in the private group, if you're in there, then you have pretty much 24/7 access to ask me stuff. All right, I'll see you guys. Peace.